Okay, I guess it's time for story time. Some weird DoorDash, dasher weirdness, odd, fun, creepy, silly, freaky, just another average day being a DoorDasher. Yes, that's right. And for those of you that are a little experienced and those of you that are thinking about it, basically it's like Murphy's Law. Whatever can happen will. Okay, let's see. Um, Here's a neat story. Uh, I was working Biloxi and at grand opening when we first opened that. Biloxi, Mississippi, out by the casinos. It stretches Biloxi to Gulfport. Beautiful, beautiful area. Beautiful. Except for one certain area, which is very, very dangerous, which a local had told me about and said, man, whatever you do, I wouldn't be down there at night. And it's just like, no one wants to be down there at night. And I was like, cool, I'm glad I know that. So I kept it in my mind. And oddly enough, I ended up living up there one day in the daytime in a real big hurry. The girl came out to my car to get it, which was really cool because I let her know in my text that, I was, so many miles away, white Mercedes, da 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 da, and she was greatest. There was a order I got for about $200 in seafood at one of the very, very nice seafood houses in Biloxi. And I did a vlog about that a long time ago, about that restaurant, and showed the menu and the inside of the restaurant and everything. And people love to comment on it because they're like, yeah, I ate there, but it's like 1,000 stairs to get up there. There's no elevator. You have to go up a ton of stairs, the things up on pylons, up in the air. And it's a big place. And it's really neat inside. But their big specialty is seafood. They do some outrageous seafood. And the prices are kind of medium to high. It's not like the El Cheapo place. It is really quite nice. And I imagine it's been there for a lot of years. It looks like a family-owned type dinner house. Neat atmosphere, and they're really, really busy all the time. Anyway, I just feel sorry for the older people that have to go up those stairs because they're so steep, you could fall down backwards and kill yourself. They're pretty creepy. I had this really big order. It was like $200. And seafood, and I thought, wow, this is a good order here, and the pay on it was pretty good. And that's back when DoorDash was stealing every tip in the world and distributing it to all the dashers around the world, to help their uh, uh, offers to be a little better than what they were. So, say they had a $4 offer, they would take part of somebody's tips and make it a $6 or $8 offer. And that's just how they did it. They just, that's another long story. And so you really hope to get a cash tip. And with all the customers that are suing DoorDash over their tips, and they're not getting to the drivers because they do it in front of the driver and they show them, this is what I paid for your tip. And then the driver, they show the driver, and that they're not doing it. And there's also drivers that are ordering stuff for other drivers, and then they look at the tip, and one guy did a $50 one, and it never made it to the driver. This is a while back. So a lot of people started tipping cash. So that really worked out really nice because you make $100, $200 in tips real easy in cash for the great customers. And I would even suggest tipping cash today. I really would. I would not tip on that app. But anyway, and especially with Chipotle, because they take all $50. They charge 25 and 25. They take it all. So anyway, so I got this really big order, and I had to wait a little while for the order because a lot of the restaurants in the Mississippi. Well, that one was grand open, so they weren't really used to it. And this was not a signature restaurant at DoorDash. So this is a call in from an Oriental, and then they tell them how long it takes to make it and the total, and then they pay for it, or we go in with the red card and we pay for it. Most of them, 99% of the orders were red card. And so, especially on a grand opening of any city. So anyway, we went up there to grand open on that city, and we went back several times. But on this particular run, we got this $200 order, and I run with a co-driver. So when we go through Pensacola, it makes it real easy because you have nowhere to park. So if you have a co-driver, you know, you can pick up and drive around the block and pick them back up when the food's ready. Run 2 phones so you can text back and forth. And then when you go to deliver, you don't have to worry about parking because they can just run it to the customer or they come to your car. They're really nice about it if you let them know in advance. That's why you text the customer, because they will offer to come to your car. Because the other delivery services do that. They don't deliver to the door. So anyway, we get this big order after like 20-minute wait. And it's always like that at a grand opening or a brand new restaurant on the app, because they're not used to it. And like I've told you guys many times before, a dinner house, a fine dining dinner house, cooking from scratch takes 7 to 8 minutes for a meal. So I don't care if it's Mexican food, seafood, or whatever it is. That's what it takes them to prepare that meal. And so it's really a pain when the food is not ready when it's supposed to be. But anyway, 20-25 minutes, it's about nightfall. So get all of it packed up, and I have an extreme amount of bags because I do a lot of catering too. So I have every kind of bag there is. I make a lot of my bags and stuff, and my bags, some of them have a 4-hour heat period and some are 2.5-hour heat period. So the food will be piping hot. But anyway, got the food, and it takes longer to get down the stairs than anything. It takes long to get up them and long to get down them, because you have to be really careful that you don't fall down those stairs. They're so steep, and it's so many of them. And so anyway, got that stuff loaded in, and I did a vlog for that restaurant while I was there. And then we went to go find the place, and it was kind of like here, there, everywhere, and then it was what looked like government apartments for low income. And it was a whole bunch of buildings. Oh my gosh, I had to drive around in circles. And the buildings had letters on them and different places, like A, B, C, D and all that. And they were all mixing up because they built them at different times. So it was really confusing. We drove around all these buildings that were like A to Z, that had about probably 10 units per building. And so there were like 2-story buildings. They could have been 3. They might have been 3. And so anyway, real old complex. Looked like something out of like the 70s or something like that. So anyway, finally, the customer was great texting back and forth because could not find it. And back then, they timed your orders so bad, you had so much time to pick it up while you were in the restaurant. DoorDash would be sending you messages going, is the food ready yet? Is the food ready yet? And all that. And it was just a pain. And then while you're driving, it was like, you had so much time to get there and then so much time to deliver, or you lost points and lost money because they start deducting from your bonuses on the pay and all that stuff. It was really a mess. So you could have a $15 order end up being about $4, At the time to peak pay, and if you declined an order, you lost all your peak pays, for the night. It was a mess. So anyway, so this order's getting real cheap by the minute. Finally, we find the building with some help of the customer texting us a little bit back and forth. They're kind of slow. And so it's like, you know, about dark. And this is not a real well lit area. It looks really, how can I say, grody, scary, creepy. And so we go together. And because I would never send my co-driver by themselves. So we went together. And we find the unit. It was on first floor. And knocked on the door, and it took a little bit. And see, you're still on a timer while you're waiting for him to come to the door. And it's like you're just losing money by the second. Finally, the person comes to the door, and it's a little tiny, frail, older man. And when you open the door, it just reeks of medicine, and it's like you can smell death. And he opened the door, and he said, "Well, come on in." And it's like, oh God, this is like the dumbest thing we could ever do. But so we went in, and the neighbors were creepy, creepy, creepy. I got to tell you, they just all of a sudden are coming out like cockroaches when we were at that door. And so we went in, and like I'm scared for my car. and went in, and I said, "Where would you like us to put this?" And he's like, "Right there." He had a little TV table and a chair, and a couch. And he's like, "Just put some on the table, and you put some over there." And then he wanted to visit. So I think he just orders a whole bunch of DoorDash just so he can visit a little bit. And he looked very, very sick. And we stayed about 20 minutes, had a lovely chat, and thanked him for his order, and hoped he had a really nice evening. And he was just so excited to have that food delivered. And it was a ton of food. He was all by himself. And he's like, "Well, I like to eat quality food, so, I like to order the best." And he's like, "If you're going to do it upright, And this guy was probably worth a mint. And living in that funky little place. And anyway, I had a great time, and we left. And I was like, "God, I hope we don't have to do any more like that," because, you don't, when you're doing this, you don't want to go into people's houses. I've listened to somebody on YouTube that used a DoorDash, and she was like, "Well, I had to bring liquor to this party, and they invited me in, and I hung out for a little bit." And it's like, dude, are you crazy? You have to be careful. Now, the good thing about DoorDash is we don't carry cash. Not like Pizza Man, where they have $100 to $200 bank, so they can give customers change, whatever. Those are the guys that get jumped. DoorDashers don't carry cash, so we don't have as much problem. People that try to steal food, that's another story. But anyway, so that was a real sweet, fun thing. We felt like we really did our good deed for the day. And I honestly think he buys all that food just to have a Dasher visit with him. And it was brand new to that area. Brand new. It only been up a couple days when I got down there. And I was down there helping Dashers and recruiting Dashers and all that kind of stuff. And helping restaurants. And the ones that were friendly about it, other ones hate DoorDash. They just, if you said DoorDash, there was one, you'd go in, and this woman would scream at you if you were DoorDash. And she was just, I mean, She's like, we hate DoorDash. And if she found out your order was DoorDash, she would screw it up, not give it to you, tell you to get out, whatever. Some of them are just, I mean, insane mean, you know, way back. But anyway, let's see. I got an order about a month or so ago in the Fort Walton area at Chili's. And I'm getting ready to leave, and it was kind of a medium-sized order. It wasn't huge, but it was pretty good money. And all of a sudden, I'm getting ready to leave, and this black guy comes out with a Michael Jackson hair and the chef suit on. He looked like he was a chef, and comes running out to my car and says, she forgot the drinks. And I'm like, huh? And I was taking 2 orders, which I don't normally do stacked orders. I hate them. They never work out right. And so he brought out 2 beverages and said, oh, that's for Harold, which was one of my orders. And I said, you sure? And he said, yes, you've got to take it. I said, okay. And so anyway, I went to go deliver one of them. Both of them went down to Okaloosa Island. Both of them went to hotels. One went to the Hilton and one went to Waterscapes. Now there's a hotel. That sucker's like a tropical island inside all those big tall buildings. It is the most unreal thing. If you ever want to book a really cool trip, reserve a room at Waterscapes on Okaloosa Island in Florida. That is some kind of place. It's like Disneyland water park. It is really neat. But anyway, and it's not all hotel. It's like they rent some out and the rest people live there. So it's pretty neat. Beautiful area. You can walk around there at night and everything. No one will bother you or anything. It's real safe. And real nice area. So anyway, I had these 2 orders I had to do. So I go to one because that was the farther one, and then catch the other one on the flip-flop, which was back, another, 2 blocks. It's harder to get to. I could catch that on flip-flop before I go back over the bridge. And DoorDash had them reversed somehow. It didn't make any damn sense at all. And so I went to go do the first one and delivered to that guy. And then I'm getting text messages because I sent messages to both parties. And I'm getting text messages from the other one going, you passed me. You're at the wrong place. And it's like they're sending me all these messages and I'm busy dealing with this customer, making sure he's got everything. And he's from Ohio, really nice guy. He was also asking me how I like my car. And I talked to him a couple seconds about that and told him to have, he was there with his wife and kids and told him have a wonderful, holiday weekend. And he was the greatest. And he came down and met me at the Hilton down at the entry, at the drive-thru, which was really cool. Just came right up to the car. It was awesome. And you always ask them their name now before you give that food away. You'll be giving away to whoever. And you will get in major trouble if you give away expensive food like that. So you gotta ask them the name. So you have DoorDash order, and what's the name on the order? Because there could be 4 other orders. And the people are downstairs waiting on it because these hotels don't like people in the hotels. There's only a few that I can get in, and they know who I am. The rest absolutely do not like delivery people in the hotels. And it's a good protective measure. They used to have pizza guys with the gun in the pizza box. You know what I mean? You knock on the door, the person looks out the door, they see pizza, and then they open the door and they get blown away. I mean, yeah, there's some weird stuff that's happening in the world. So hotels just don't favor visitors, or maybe the guy's with some girl and he's married and the wife finds out where he's at. Do you think they're going to give her the room number and all that stuff? No. Do you think they want people wandering down the halls so they don't know what they're doing? Nope. So, most time you have to leave the stuff at the front desk. That's usually what a lot of the hotels would do. Or you spend 20 minutes trying to figure out how to get up in the hotel with their permission. And then you have to go all over the place looking for rooms up and down hallways. But I don't do all that, not unless I had our hotel, because then that's a good $20 and up tip. But anyway, so delivered to that guy. Went to go turn back around. There's a lot of traffic. There's like 6 lanes of highway, and it's between Dustin and Fort Walton, and it's a big trick to get through all that, especially at night. So what a mess. And then have to turn right before you go over the bridge to go to the other place, and that place you can't get in. It's got a gate code, and we're not allowed inside that parking structure or any of that, period. And so they have to meet us at the check-in office, which is closed after daylight, I guess. And so they have to stand out there while we pull in, and it's really hard to get out because they made the street too narrow on both sides, because you have to turn around to go back down the other way, and it's a living nightmare. Just get out of there. So it's a cool place to drop off, though, because they have all these steps and everything right there, and it's real safe for them, but it's terrible bringing the car up in there. So anyway, I went to go do the other delivery, which was 2 young girls. They looked to be about maybe 14 and 16, maybe. And I had asked the guy. I said, "Did you have beverages?" Because he had a child's meal, the guy that was at the Hilton. And he said, "No, I said, "You sure?" And he says, "No, didn't order it." I said, "Because I've got 2 beverages here, and I think it was with your order." And he says, "No, no." So then I go to do this other order over at Waterscapes to the 2 girls, and I asked them, "Did you guys order beverages?" "Nope." I said, "You sure you didn't order 2 beverages?" "Nope." And I'm like, oh gosh, I'm going to get a bad rating for this. So I text back the guy at the Hilton, and I say, "Are you sure you didn't order 2 beverages?" Figuring maybe his wife ordered and he didn't have the order right or something, right? He said, "No, I really didn't." I said, "Okay," because somehow or another I got 2 beverages, 2 orders, and they didn't go to the other order I delivered at Waterscape. And he goes, "No, no, you did perfect. You did perfect." I said, "Okay, thank you." So I felt so bad. And then turned out later it was a cup of water and a chocolate milk. And because I was like, what is this? And it was actually a fresh chocolate milk. And it was like, well, alrighty then. And it was the greatest chocolate milk I ever had. Because I have a cooler bag I put my drinks in with ice packs. So it was like really ice cold. God, it was so good. What do? I felt like such a bonehead because that chef ran that out to me, telling me it was part of my order, and it wasn't. And he was trying to like save the day for the girl that, gives you the food when you pick up over there. Let's see. Getting the wrong address. Where you have a street, and you got to make sure to say if it's northwest, southwest, or whatever, because it really makes a difference. I was doing an order at Nightfall in Pensacola, way back when we grand opened that. And I was driving around down by the railroad tracks, down by commercial buildings. I'm driving around, and everything's like one-way streets over there. It is nuts. And you come the wrong way, you got to turn around and go around 5 blocks to come back the other way, and you have to keep doing that. And I mean, I have a $350 GPS, and it's like, it's really accurate. And as long as you update it on the computer regularly when it asks you to. And so anyway, I am like so lost. And so I'm texting the girl, and a lot of the customers won't look at the app and track you because they have this GPS tracker that DoorDash has on the computer. The rep can see it when you contact DoorDash, and the customer can see you driving from the restaurant to their house. And so they see you coming. And so if the server's working and everything, sometimes it's not. And signal is a big thing too. You'll go through places where signal's weak, or you're near military extensions and they block signal and stuff like that. But anyway, so the girl, she wasn't looking at the app to see, the mapping of where I was at or anything. And I told her, I said, there's no house here. I said, it's a business that looks closed. And it was like on a Sunday evening. I said, it's like a business that's closed with fence all over. Where do you want me to go? And she's about 30 seconds past, and she says, you're on the wrong end of the street. And I'm like, what? So we go back to GPS address again, and we had picked the wrong one. There was like 4 choices, and we picked the wrong one. So now we got to drive back. And this person's waiting on their food, and we're on the timer, and DoorDash is deducting money by the second, because the stuff's getting later and later. And, we're on the peak pay bonus plan where you have to work so many hours and you can't turn down but 2 orders, or it will just zero all the peak pay out for every order you did. And trust me, when you start accepting orders that, are like $6 and $8, and then all of a sudden, the end of your shift, they drop like $3 off each one. It's like, dude, I would never do an order for that. I wouldn't turn the key for that. So we GPSed it again, and sure as heck, we picked the wrong street. And so I apologized and everything, and she's like, it's okay. And I'm like, sure. She's gonna be mad as fire. And then we get down there, and it's one of those no parking streets, and the fence is all the way to like the sidewalk. And but what was really cool, she came out and met us at the car, and she was real nice. I was very apologetic. I spent a few extra minutes to be very apologetic. I didn't want her to be mad, and I didn't want to get a bad rating. And she was really super cool, and she'd asked me what it was like to DoorDash, and I invited her to join DoorDash and be a dasher in her spare time. And it worked out real good, thank God. But, oh, that was a joke. What a mess. We picked the wrong street. Oh, here's one. And I've vlogged about this before. I get an order, and we are in, I think we were working Mobile, Alabama that night. Mobile, Alabama. Oh boy, there's 1,000,001 restaurants. And they're just for miles. But there's also a ton of huge apartment complex places. Huge. Huge, huge, huge. And so we were up in Mobile one night, and let's see. This is when I used to tip a lot of the restaurants. I would throw them an extra $1 or something if I could get extra stuff. Like, somebody had baked potato, and I would get like extra butter, extra sour cream, all this extra stuff. And just like walk away with half the restaurant because I was really nice to the waitress. And I'd throw them a buck or two and tell them, hey, thank you. And I would stuff all that in the bag. And that was before I started carrying everything in my car, where I carry knives, forks, napkins, plates for pizzas and sauces and all that kind of stuff. I had all that. If you go to one of my vlogs, you'll see that, where it's something like how to dash like a pro or something like that. And I show my whole setup. And my bags, my drink carriers, all that stuff. And I do it by the water side. It's really neat. You have to look at it. So anyway, That way I don't have to worry about these restaurants. I just throw all the stuff in there and I have what I need. And I know that they've got ketchup with their fries or whatever, that whatever way people would eat their stuff, anything possible that they would be missing, just like pizzas and everything else. So, uh, I can't believe they just sent me an order and I'd already clocked out like 30 minutes ago. Anyway, so, I I just got that notice across my phone. They sent me an order and I'm already clocked out. Clocked out and cashed out even. So anyway, let's see. Mobile. Okay, so, uh, I got this one order, um, and it was at, I can't think of the name of it. It was a little tiny mom and pop place. It looked like a little house when you went over there. Little tiny place. Must have been there for years. And they were doing like gourmet food. Real weird gourmet food. And like it didn't even make any sense, the description on the menu and all that stuff. And so I had to go in there and then pay for it with a card and all that. And got the food. And it was like really expensive. I'm like, this is such a ripoff. Um, and it was like $45, and it was some weird food, something real simple, real weird, little tiny thing. It so went to go deliver that, and it's way over the other side of town, lots of miles, and it's like 29 degrees. It is really, really cold. And it's pitch black dark, and end up that we're at this complex, and it's a secured complex with a security guard in the booth and the whole thing. And I said, well, I've got, this DoorDash food delivery. He's like, what's DoorDash? You get a lot of that. What's DoorDash? What are you talking about? I said, it's a food delivery thing, like Pizza Man or Pizza Man He Delivers or whatever, Uber Eats, Um, and I said, and here's the name, and this is the order. I showed my phone, and he says, well, they should be coming to the gate. They shouldn't be doing this. Delivery people, commercial people aren't supposed to be inside the boundaries, which is typical of all these secured places. They're not supposed to be giving the gate codes out, and they're not supposed to be having people coming in and out of there. And a lot of them have signs that say no commercial business unless approved by the office to come through here. So anyway, so the guy, he was an older guy, and he said, okay, I'm going to let you in. Okay. Well, I ended up driving all over the universe in this place.